Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something fascinating. A subject filled with ancient maps, high-level secrets, and some genuinely strange global stuff. Antarctica.
That's right.
Our plan is to sift through a whole range of sources. We've got everything from old historical accounts, alleged secret documents, right up to modern witness reports.
And the goal is to pull out the key pieces, see how they connect, and maybe get a clearer picture of Earth's southernmost continent and maybe beyond.
Exactly.
We'll be navigating these layers, connecting historical puzzles with things happening right now. We really want to help you understand why this, frozen landmass is still central to so many unanswered questions. We'll look at alleged audio, satellite image claims, historical reports, stuff that really challenges what we think we know.
Okay, so let's start with some history that just, kind of blows your mind.
Yeah.
Take the Piri-Reis map. It was drawn in 1513.
Right?
And it's supposedly based on even older source maps. The amazing thing is, it seems to show Antarctica's northern ridge pretty accurately.
Which is incredible because
This was 300 years before Antarctica was officially discovered in 1821.
3 centuries early. It's baffling.
And it's not just a one-off. There's another map, the Orontius Phineas map from 1531. It also shows Antarctica.
And gets even more specific, right?
Yeah. It shows rivers and lakes, features that modern satellites have actually confirmed exist under the ice.
Under miles of ice.
So the core mystery is just how? How could map makers in the 1500s know this? Know about a continent nobody supposedly knew existed, let alone its hidden geography?
Well, this is where Professor Charles Hapgood comes in. He was a historian, maybe a bit unconventional for some, and he proposed this crustal displacement theory. Hapgood basically suggested Antarctica wasn't always at the South Pole. It was once in a warmer climate.
Home to a civilization.
Potentially, yes. He argued an ancient civilization lived there, but they either had to flee or, they perished when some kind of natural disaster shifted the continent.
Shifted the whole continent.
His theory was that the Earth's entire crust can sort of slip over the core every 20,000 to 30,000 years, maybe. And he thought the last big shift, maybe 12,000 years ago, is what moved Antarctica to where it is now.
So covering everything in ice.
Exactly. Burying any settlements, explaining why the ice thickness varies between East and West Antarctica. And the really compelling part, Albert Einstein. He actually thought Hapgood might be onto something.
Albert Einstein.
Yep. He wrote the foreword to Hapgood's 1958 book, The Earth's Shifting Crust.
No kidding.
And he even petitioned President Eisenhower, apparently, tried to get government money for Hapgood to research it further.
So Einstein believed it was plausible, but it got sidelined.
It did get sidelined by mainstream science, yeah. Einstein was just fascinated by ideas that challenged the norm, I think. Hapgood's work, though unconventional, offered a potential explanation for things like that Piri-Reis map.
But the standard science view is different?
Oh, yeah. The consensus is that such a rapid shift, like land moving at 1,000 miles per hour, as some interpretations suggest Hapgood implied, would have been catastrophic, wiped out almost all life.
Okay, that makes sense.
And geological data suggests the poles haven't moved more than about 5 degrees in the last 130 million years. So a huge, fast shift like Hapgood theorized is largely dismissed.
But the maps?
The map anomalies remain. The questions Hapgood raised about how that ancient knowledge existed, they haven't really gone away.
And then Graham Hancock picked up on this.
Right. In his 1995 book, Fingerprints of the Gods, he built on Hapgood's idea.
What did he add?
Hancock proposed a major crustal displacement around 10,450 BC, wiping out an advanced civilization whose ruins are now under the Antarctic ice.
Okay.
And he took it further, suggesting the survivors spread out and maybe founded other great ancient civilizations, the Aztecs, Mayans, Egyptians.
Yeah, that's a huge claim.
It is. But it's interesting how it echoes some Native American stories, like legends about ancestors coming from a place called Aslan. Yeah, described as a mysterious white island to the south, destroyed by disasters.
So you've got these threads, ancient maps, Hapgood's theory with Einstein's backing, Hancock's ideas, indigenous legends, all pointing south to a lost history.
Exactly. Even with the scientific counter-arguments, the persistence of these anomalies, this does make you wonder, doesn't it? Are we maybe missing a piece of the puzzle by just writing it all off?
Okay, let's jump forward. From ancient maps to some really weird recent stuff happening down there. Remember Buzz Aldrin? December 2016? He had to be medically evacuated from the South Pole. He was 86.
Yeah, I remember that. It was during a tourist trip, right? A luxury one.
Exactly. But then things got strange. There were reports, allegations, that he tweeted something bizarre on December 9th.
What was it?
Something like, "We are all in danger, it is evil itself." And supposedly it came with a picture. A pyramid, apparently near the UK's Princess Elizabeth Station at the South Pole.
A pyramid. Wow. Okay, that's
Yeah.
out there. Though that tweet's authenticity is heavily debated, of course.
Right, highly debated. But Aldrin's visit wasn't the only high-profile one around then.
No, it wasn't. Sources were saying there was, quote, a lot of activity and a lot of visits to the South Pole by some very powerful people right around that time.
Like John Kerry.
Exactly. He was Secretary of State then. He became the highest-ranking U.S. official ever to visit the South Pole.
Officially for climate change talks.
That was the official line, yeah. But, other sources hinted at different reasons.
So, all these powerful people suddenly visiting, it fueled speculation, didn't it?
Absolutely. Talk of secret underground bases, heavy military presence. And it's true that if you try to look at certain South Pole areas on Google Maps or similar satellite views,
You find blurred spots, airbrushed areas.
you do. Noticeable censorship. It just adds to the feeling that something's being hidden.
And then there was another really unusual visitor. Russia's top religious figure, Patriarch Kirill.
Ah, yes, that was fascinating.
Just before he went to Antarctica, he had this huge, urgent meeting with Pope Francis in Cuba.
Which was historic in itself. First-time leaders of the Eastern Orthodox and Catholic churches had met like that since the Great Schism in 1054 A.D.
1,000 years. And then, days later, Kirill heads off to Antarctica.
Right. Flew down there, held a religious service, and he said some pretty interesting things.
What did he say?
He praised Antarctica, called it a model of an ideal humanity, said it's the only place with no weapons, no military activity.
Huh.
He went on saying, people there can live like this. No borders, no weapons, no hostile competition. They can cooperate and feel as members of one family.
That's quite poetic for a barren, icy place, especially one with so much secrecy surrounding parts of it.
Exactly. You put it all together. The Aldrin incident, Kerry's visit, the Pope and Patriarch meeting right before Kirill goes south, his strange comments.
It makes you ask, what were they all looking for? Or what did they see down there? Why these sudden high-level trips?
What knowledge could possibly be hidden in Antarctica that draws such attention? It's a compelling question.
Okay, let's rewind the clock again, but stick with the theme of secrets. Back to just before World War II. The Nazis.
The New Swabia expeditions.
Yeah. December 1938 to February 1939. They sent a 33-person team down there. Took thousands of aerial photos.
And used that rare, expensive color film you mentioned earlier.
Right, which suggests they weren't just mapping casually. They were clearly looking for something specific.
And that wasn't their first trip, was it?
No, there were apparently 2 earlier Nazi expeditions. Used hot air balloons for aerial shots. Tried to walk across and map the place.
Makes you wonder, were they maybe looking for Atlantis? Or something
Yeah.
like it, given their occult interests.
It fits the pattern, doesn't it? Especially when you remember things like that 1754 Boyos map,
Yeah.
which somehow already showed accurate subglacial topography of Antarctica.
Yeah, the idea that some prior knowledge existed outside the mainstream keeps popping up.
And this brings in Admiral Richard Byrd again, the American naval officer.
Right, Byrd spent a lot of time in Antarctica, and he made some pretty bold claims later on.
What did he say?
He talked about an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being, beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole.
An entire unseen landmass.
That's what he claimed. He also apparently believed Antarctica had something crucial to do with the future of the nation. Called it the most valuable, important place left in the world for science.
Which could tie into why the Nazis might have wanted secret bases there, right? If they
Yeah.
knew something others didn't.
Precisely. If they believed they'd found something significant, maybe an entry point or ancient structures.
So after the war, the U.S. launched Operation High Jump.
Coordinated by Byrd, U.S.-led, but Russians, Australians, British forces were involved too.
Officially, it was just reconnaissance.
Officially. But the story goes, it was really about finding and dealing with whatever the Nazis had set up down there, closing in on their strange operations.
And weren't there mysterious deaths during that operation?
There were reports of that, yes, adding another layer of intrigue.
This all seems to feed into that really wild theory. The Hollow Earth.
It does, and it's weird to think about now, but the Hollow Earth idea was apparently quite popular in certain circles during WWII, including among some top Nazi officials.
Seriously, what exactly is the theory?
The basic concept is that the Earth isn't solid. It's shaped like an eyeball, kind of, hollow inside with openings at the north and south poles.
Openings leading inside the Earth.
Yeah, portals to a hollow interior. And some Nazis may be influenced by thinkers like Helena Blavatsky and her ideas about hidden masters and spiritual realms.
They thought this inner Earth could be
A place for their master race to live, a sort of hidden sanctuary, completely different from the traditional Christian idea of hell being under the crust.
wow.
And it's interesting that after Operation High Jump, and especially after Byrd started talking more openly about strange things he'd seen,
After he died, right?
right around then and after his death, the U.S., through the newly formed NASA, really started pushing the solid ball model of Earth. No way in, no way out.
Almost like a counter-narrative.
One could interpret it that way, especially given Byrd's supposed diary.
Ah, the diary that mysteriously showed up in 1990.
That's the one. In it, he allegedly wrote he was ordered to keep silent about everything he had witnessed in Antarctica.
And what did he claim he witnessed?
He wrote about seeing the land beyond the pole, the center of the great unknown.
Chilling stuff.
Hmm.
It ties back to that question about all those top German scientists at the end of the war. Thousands of them.
Where did they go?
Did they get snapped up by the U.S. in Operation Paperclip?
Or did they, as some theories suggest, find another way out? A quick exit off the face of the world, maybe literally, into this supposed hollow Earth via Antarctica.
It's a mind-bending possibility, and maybe these Antarctic mysteries aren't isolated. What about other strange things happening globally?
Let's shift focus slightly. Consider some recent UFO sightings, or UAP sightings.
Like the ones over London. There was footage of these weird pairs of lights just hanging there, stagnant in the sky, then disappearing.
And similar sightings reported elsewhere. A big one over Turkey. Another case in Canada where lights supposedly followed someone for miles.
And wasn't there one in Frimley, England, too? A triangular pattern of lights?
Yeah, 3 moving lights in a triangle, plus another object further away, captured on camera.
What's the pattern here?
Well, one recurring theme is these pairs of lights. They seem to be reported quite frequently now all over the world. It's becoming a common sighting type.
But there's something else, isn't there? Something witnesses report happening to their devices.
Yes, and this is crucial. In multiple incidents, witnesses report their phones, their cameras. They just lose power or lose signal, even with full batteries.
And they only start working again after they leave the area.
That's the consistent report. It happens again and again.
So whatever these objects are.
It strongly suggests, it implies that many of them have some kind of technology, something that can knock out electronic surveillance or recording devices nearby.
Interference. Like the blurred spots on satellite maps, maybe? A form of obscuring things?
It certainly fits a pattern of information control or technological interference, doesn't it? Whether it's blurring maps, alleged secret operations, or lights that disable your phone camera.
It's a lot to take in. From ancient maps to modern VIP visits, Nazi links, Byrd's claims, and now these global lights with weird effects. Okay, let's try and pull this all together for everyone listening.
Right.
We started with ancient maps, Piri Reis, Orontius Phineas, hinting at maybe a lost civilization under the Antarctic ice. Then we jumped to recent times, high-ranking officials, Aldrin, Carey, Patriarch Kirill, making these really strange, almost secretive trips down there.
And then the historical layer, the Nazi expeditions, clearly searching for something, possibly linked to Hollow Earth beliefs, Admiral Byrd's Operation High Jump, and his later quite startling claims about unseen lands.
And finally, these modern phenomena, strange lights in the sky, seen globally, often in pairs, that seem capable of intelligently interacting with our technology, like shutting down phones and cameras.
Right.
So this deep dive really shows Antarctica isn't just some, empty frozen continent. It seems to be a focal point, a nexus for some really deep, persistent mysteries about our world.
And if you connect the dots, maybe the bigger picture. What if the persistence of these stories, the consistency across centuries, from old maps to modern secrecy and these global anomalies, what if it means the unexplored parts of our world aren't just geographical? What if they represent something more fundamental, something that challenges our whole understanding of Earth's history, its hidden spaces, maybe even who or what else shares this planet?
That's a heavy thought. So what's the takeaway for someone listening to all this?
Keep an open mind, perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps it just means keeping your eyes open, looking at the patterns. Because as these things seem to be escalating, as more evidence comes out, maybe we're getting closer to some really big answers.
Answers that could fundamentally change how we see everything.
Exactly. Answers that might just reshape what we thought we knew.